Chelsea is ready to sell 3 players. According to a report by James Ollie from ESPN, Chelsea is willing to sell a number of players in the January transfer window to make way for Mauricio Pochettino's preferred recruits. The 3 players Chelsea reportedly want to sign are all talented young players who should attract a lot of interest. Trevoh Chalobah, Roma's main target, Ian Maatsen and Noni Madueke can all be sacrificed in the eyes of the Blues. Madueke is one of the standout players, since Chelsea signed him last year with much hope regarding his long-term progress. Maybe this is too much, too early for Madueke, who has so far been unable to stand out in London. Chelsea target Nico Elvendi has a release clause of €10 million, according to a tweet from Florian Plettenberg. The 27-year-old is a Borussia Mönchengladbach stalwart, but appears ready for a move and has a clause set in the region of €10 million, which the Blues could exploit. Signing players aged over 25 would be a marked change in Chelsea's transfer policy, but perhaps it is an admission that the current arrangements are not working. The Blues were linked with the Swiss international earlier this week, and we don't think it's a coincidence that this news is coming out of Plettenberg now. The good news is that these clauses are very achievable. The bad news is that every football club will find out, and if he is as good as we think, there will be many more interesting options for him than the mediocre mid-table and organisational chaos at Chelsea. Chelsea are now planning a double £86 million move in January. Chelsea are mired in mid-table and have a huge mountain to climb, especially if they are to salvage potential European qualification from a disappointing season so far. Therefore, Chelsea is planning a move for Vlahovic and Palhinha worth £86 million. Now, according to reports from Spain, the West London side are planning £86 million worth of funds to solve certain problems. It's true that Chelsea are allegedly plotting moves for Joao Palhinha and Dusan Vlahovic in a bid to support Pochettino and revive the club's slumping season. It's believed £51.4 million will be used to sign Palhinha from Fulham, and a further £34.3 million will be invested in luring Vlahovic from Juventus, which roughly translates to around £86 million from the Euros. This happened at the request of Pochettino, as he seeks to improve the Chelsea squad. Palhinha has been a star performer for Fulham since joining them in the summer of 2022, and they managed to keep hold of the Portuguese earlier this year despite an offer from Bayern Munich. Vlahovic, meanwhile, is starting to rediscover his best form at Juventus as Premier League clubs reportedly take notice of his exploits in Turin. Both players are important players for their respective teams, so it will be interesting to see if the above-mentioned fees are enough to tempt Juve or Fulham to do a mid-season deal. Eddie Howe has no plans to make Lewis Hall permanent. Lewis Hall left Chelsea to join the Magpies on loan in the summer, and there is a permanent purchase option that Chelsea hope to take up at the end of the season. In his press release today, Howe suddenly and unexpectedly cast serious doubt on the possibility of the deal happening. The Newcastle manager said, "That's not my decision. He is here now. He's a Newcastle player. I think there are certain criteria he has to meet." You asked the wrong person. I'm not 100% sure. Lewis is a very talented player and has extraordinary technical qualities. He is creative and has a very good final delivery. He is a very good attacking full-back. Eddie Howe cannot confirm whether Chelsea loanee Lewis Hall will be a Newcastle player next season. Says the decision was not his, as certain criteria had to be met. A purchase obligation of £28 million was in place at the time of the deal. Chelsea must make decisions regarding 2 players in the final year of their contracts, Thiago Silva and Lucas Bergstrom. Thiago Silva's contract will expire at the end of the season. Apart from Silva, young goalkeeper Lucas Bergstrom is also approaching the end of his contract at Stamford Bridge. In the midst of all the uncertainty that exists for Mauricio Pochettino, he is now under additional pressure to determine the future of these 2 stars. Silva can be said to have appeared in every game for the Blues this season. His presence is phenomenal and very striking in Chelsea's young squad. On the other hand, Bergstrom was nothing more than a presence on the bench. After weighing all the pros and cons, it's pretty clear that while one player continues to be a key player, the other is just a minor name in a bloated squad. Silva is arguably the strongest leader among them. The Brazilian defender has appeared for the Stamford Bridge team in every match except the match against Everton. Temporary Lucas Bergstrom has never appeared for Chelsea's senior team. Kepa Arrizabalaga's place was taken over by Robert Sanchez last summer. Despite Sanchez's injury, it remains to be seen whether Lucas Bergstrom will get the chance to feature in a Chelsea game in the near future, considering there is still a big name, Dejan Petrovic. Chelsea want to strengthen their defence and may sign Italian international defender Alessandro Buongiorno. Buongiorno has emerged as one of the best defenders in Serie A this season. His performances for Torino were impressive, and he has since earned a call-up to the Italian national team, where he was selected as a defender by Luciano Spalletti. And now, his performance is attracting attention from all over Europe, and Chelsea is one of the teams interested in him. According to The Sun, Chelsea want to sign Buongiorno after monitoring him recently. It is reported how Chelsea have watched Buongiorno several times in recent weeks and plan to pay more attention to the defender in the upcoming games. Buongiorno is described in the report as an aggressive defender and is only 2 players behind in the entire Serie A in terms of tackles per game. The Italian side believe they can squeeze £35 million out of the Blues for the deal. Defence is an area they need to improve, and they need to get a defender in the middle who can dominate. It's clear that Buongiorno has great qualities, and considering the Italian defender's background and history, Chelsea fans will definitely be delighted with his arrival. Mauricio Pochettino made the decision in midweek to sign more players of certain qualities. Buongiorno may be someone who fits the bill. Alesandro Broja's agent admits that he has spoken with the Turkish club regarding a move from Chelsea in January, but his intention is to stay at Stamford Bridge. Sports Digital has exclusive commentary from Imad El-Hamachi today regarding Broja's potential transfer amid increased ties to Turkey over the past week. Broja has been part of Mauricio Pochettino's squad this season after returning from a long-term injury, but has not proven to be the answer to Chelsea's goal-scoring problems. This has led to reports that he could be on the move in the coming weeks, and Besiktas are said to be one of the parties interested in him. It appears Broja and the Blues may be at odds as they appear to want to let him go, but he doesn't want that. Perhaps one of the parties can be persuaded to change his mind in the coming weeks, and his agent will certainly be working on precautions. Alesandro Broja's manager, Imad El-Hamachi, made a statement to Sports Digital. "There are teams who want Broja from Turkey and meet us, but our priority is to stay at Chelsea.